When people listen to this speech, they usually hear a familiar story. A story about freedom versus tyranny. A story about courage, suffering, and hope. But there is another layer here, one that is easy to overlook because it is delivered calmly, emotionally, and with gratitude. This speech is not only about Venezuela, it is also about positioning, timing, and legitimacy. Let's start with the setting. The speaker is not addressing Venezuelans directly. She is speaking at the Heritage Foundation in the United States, surrounded by policymakers, donors, and political actors. That matters. This is not a rally speech. It is not meant to mobilize crowds, it is meant to signal readiness. Throughout the speech, the language is deliberately restrained. There are no radical demands, no threats, no ultimatums. Instead, we hear repeated references to process, transition, mandate, and legitimacy. This is the language of someone who wants to be seen not as an activist, but as a head of state in waiting. Now consider the repeated emphasis on gratitude toward the United States and specifically toward President Trump. On the surface, it sounds like diplomacy, but beneath, it performs a strategic function.
Thank you very much. So, such a pleasure to be here. Very grateful to the Heritage Foundation and every one of you to join us this morning. I have to say that looking back what has happened in the last years and especially in the last days, it seems like a miracle to be sitting here in a free country in front of people that have also given their lives to fight for freedom and justice and democracy. And that's why I am very honored, not only with the Heritage Foundation, but with every single citizen of this country that has welcomed us and has honored the immense struggle that the Venezuelan people has fought for so long. And finally, we can say that we are, yes, the threshold of freedom. On January 3rd, 2026, a new milestone was achieved, and we are definitely now into the first steps of a true transition to democracy that will have not only immense impact in the lives of all Venezuelans, those who stayed in our country, those who have been forced to flee around the world, but that will have immense impact in the region, in our hemisphere, and I will say even further in the whole world. Because what we have proven is that a people determined to be free, even without resources, without money, without the free press supporting, even facing the most cruel tyranny, can prevail, because the force of conviction and the force of love is the strongest of all. I am very proud to be part of this generation of Venezuelans. Most of them have never known what it means to live in freedom or what it means to be part of democratic society, but they have risked their lives, their loved ones, everything they have, because they share that dream to live in a free country. It's all about human dignity. It's all about justice. It's all about love. And it's love for our children, love for our country, and love for freedom that has brought us here. Now we face a very complex and delicate process, and as Venezuelans, we are absolutely grateful to President Trump, his team, his administration, and the people of the United States, because it took a lot of courage to do what he did. And he did it, yes, on behalf of the American people, but also because he cares for the people of Venezuela. And he told me that yesterday.
By publicly affirming U.S. moral involvement, the speaker is doing three things at once. First, she is locking in international witnesses. If a transition succeeds, these actors can later claim they stood on the right side of history. If it fails, they will still be implicated. Second, she is externalizing responsibility. The future of Venezuela is presented as a shared moral project, not a purely internal struggle. That framing makes disengagement harder. Third, she is reframing intervention as compassion, not power. Notice how carefully the speech avoids military language. Instead, it speaks about children, hunger, education, and dignity. This is not accidental. By focusing on humanitarian collapse rather than political ideology, the speaker lowers resistance among a general audience. You don't need to agree on geopolitics to agree that children should not starve. This is persuasion by moral narrowing. Another detail most people miss is how the concept of victory is defined. Victory is not described as overthrow, defeat, or conquest. It is described as transition. That word appears repeatedly. Transition is ambiguous. It sounds peaceful, procedural, inevitable. But transitions are also fragile. They require recognition before they require control. This speech is designed to create recognition first. That explains the repeated references to being a legitimate government, even though power has not yet changed hands. Legitimacy is being constructed in advance, in public, and on foreign soil. There is also something notable in what is not said. There is no detailed economic plan, no institutional roadmap, no discussion of how fractured Venezuelan society will be governed afterward. That absence is telling. This speech is not about policy execution. It is about moral alignment. Policy comes later. Recognition comes first.
And I think that was the most important message I can bring back to my country. Tell the Venezuelan people that the American people and the President of the United States truly cares for the life, the well-being, and the future. I'm certainly talking about our political prisoners and all those who have been persecuted, those who are all today in exile. But I'm also talking about those children that are growing without their mothers because they had to flee to send food back, that are growing without education because public schooling in Venezuela works 2 days a week because teachers earn $1 a day and they need to get other jobs in order to eat, that are growing without health and food. And we have the generation that is suffering the highest levels of malnutrition in a century. That's our children right now. And it is because of them. It's because of saving lives that we're doing what we're doing right now. And that's why we're going to win. And the only thing I want to assure the Venezuelan people is that Venezuela is going to be free, and that's going to be achieved with the support of the people of the United States and the President, Donald Trump of the United States. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Finally, consider the emotional core of the speech. Despite references to suffering, the tone is controlled. There is no anger, no blame assigned directly. This calmness serves a purpose. It reassures external actors that instability will be managed, not inflamed. It signals that the speaker understands the expectations of international power. In short, this is not a revolutionary speech. It is a pre-government speech. It asks not for outrage, but for patience, not for action from citizens, but for trust from institutions. Whether one supports or opposes the political direction implied here, the speech itself is a lesson in modern power. Today, legitimacy is no longer seized first and explained later. It is explained first, carefully, publicly, and internationally, in the hope that power will follow. And that may be the most important thing this speech is actually telling us. If you found this analysis helpful, you're welcome to subscribe.